thank you for coming, and thank you all my guests for coming. This is a local political meeting for Fairfield Ward. It is to consult with the residents, the schools, for the education of our children. It is not a wider European debate, although there is a European election on the same day. It is really a local education debate. The figures that I was asked for, 27.8% of all the pupils in England attract the pupil premium. Those figures represent 1.9 million children in England that attract the pupil premium. We've determined that the pupil premium is not a good thing for children to attract. And it is a segregated system because it is not applied to all children without favour. It is applied to a specific and single group of children who end up underachieving in schools. We'd like teachers and those with more knowledge of the education system to come and say what the pupil premium actually does. In the London Borough of Wandsworth Fairfield Ward, these are the list of candidates. Leanne Cresswell, Labour Party. Fred Ponsonby, Caroline Sharp, Labour Party. Piers McCausland, Conservative Party. Will Sweet, Conservative Party. Stuart Thumb, Conservative Party. Paul Scapping, Liberal Democrats. Patrick Martin Warren, Liberal Democrats. Anthony John David Waterman, Green Party. I am Seymour McLean, the Independent Party, Independent candidate. I have invited by writing all of the candidates to attend this meeting, specifically to talk about the things that we have in common. Not necessarily talk about the differences we have, to talk about the things that we have in common, so that some common foundation could be laid. I would not wish to take up all of the time, but again, the camera is here, that an accurate recording of what the intentions are can be made. I will be voting on May the 22nd. I'll be voting on my own behalf. A local voter has 3 votes. In a local election, you have 3 votes. I'm asking the voters of Fairfield Ward for 1 of your 3 votes. In the European election, you might choose as you will. I'll be voting for who I think present the best case. I'll be voting for myself in the local election. I won't say who else I'll be voting for with my 3 votes. I'll be voting 1 for myself, and I'll cast the other 2 as I see fit. I will come back to this subject, but I would like to invite another local resident to come up and say something and represent themselves to their community and to say what is happening in Europe at the same time. I think it is a very good thing that our local community here in Fairfield Ward can come and look at not only the local election, but the wider European election. It is a very, very wide area, 500 million people electing their candidates to the European Parliament on the same day. You're asking someone to juggle in their own mind an election of a local 10,000 candidature for a local ward seat and a 500 million legislature for the European Parliament on the same day. You're asking people to do a mental juggling. It is not easy to do. It must be clearly explained what you're voting for and who you're voting, so that the democratic credentials are enhanced. Just to say that if London produces a minute figure of voter turnout and Berlin or Paris produces a larger figure, London would become the laughing stock because your democratic credentials are at a very low ebb. You're not the highest voter turnout in a democratic Europe. You're actually one of the lowest. And no specific effort has been made to increase the voter turnout, not only in the European election, But the local election, there's no obvious sign when you walk in Wandsworth, there is an election taking place on May the 22nd. There is no obvious sign when you go to any train station, any public forum, there is an election taking place on May the 22nd in Wandsworth, Brixton, Lambeth, Lewisham, or any of the local authorities. There is no obvious sign that there is a European election taking place on May the 22nd. There is no obvious sign. So the children going to South Thames College, just across the road from the town hall, they would not know that there is an election. They're all eligible to vote. They're all voting age. They would not know that there is an election and these are the debating points. There's no obvious sign. I invited the South Thames College to come and record this debate to show that their students might see and learn how to, they say it's too short notice. I thought a news medium with 2 hours notice can take a camera and interview anyone and get a gist of what is happening. But for South Thames College with 5 to 6 days notice, it is too short notice. And no South Thames College student came to see what is happening locally. The fault is, you may finish school, college or university, but you cannot make a robust defense of yourself or your policies in a public arena without shouting and waving your arms about like Jamaicans normally do and going overboard with our policies. We've not moderated our temper yet so that we can articulate ourselves in the political arena here. That's why since Mr. Archer, I doubt if there's been a next Jamaican mayor of Wandsworth, which is over 100 years ago. It has taken a long time for the Jamaican and Caribbean community to represent themselves. Now let me speak robustly without fear, favour, affection or ill will. On the council as it is now, there is one Asian councillor. His name is Councillor Ravi Govinda. He is the leader of the council. There is one black councillor. His name is Councillor Sheldon Wilkie, and he's retiring at the next election. And there are 58 European councillors. It doesn't represent the balance of the of Wandsworth. It is slanted in a conservative area unfairly. There should be at more, I wouldn't say ethnic minorities, I would say Commonwealth representatives into the council. But the Conservative Party hasn't chosen, to my knowledge, one black or Asian or Commonwealth candidate. Nor has the Labour Party, to my knowledge. I hear there might be one in Queenstown Ward, to my knowledge. But I'm saying it's not good enough. I'm saying we want a better balance of the Commonwealth represented in our local authorities, so that someone with 5–10 years local authority experience in a local authority, let's keep it to Wandsworth, to London, can perhaps go to any one of the Commonwealth countries and lift up that political system. If we're not trained here in London to represent ourselves in our communities, how can we go to our countries? How can I go to Jamaica and say I've got the qualifications to lift up your political, legal, educational standards? If the chance is not given here in England where it's made, where English is made. That is why I have got the confidence, coming from Jamaica, I'll come to your question, President Obama. That is why I'm invested with the confidence, coming from Jamaica, to challenge even the Conservative Party in a very conservative area. Come and debate the matters we have in common here. We share the same head of state. During the Diamond Jubilee, not more than 2 years ago, we celebrated. As with the Olympics, I was the chairman of the Jamaican Olympic Supporters Club. Not one bottle was broken and not one stone was flung because we appealed for calm. Now, during the Jamaican Jubilee, the Jamaican Constitution was given on the 23rd of July 1962. Jamaica is in a golden to diamond Jubilee season. We share the same head of state. I asked Councillor Ravi Govinda, will you invite the Jamaican High Commissioner to Wandsworth to explain in a forthright and dignified manner the differences that we have between us and why you, the local British community, are obliged to celebrate our Jamaican Jubilee? They refuse. I'm saying you can't refuse us. Our constitution is law in England. We are legal here in England. The Jamaican constitution was made on the 23rd of July, 1962. It is a legal instrument here in England. Do not take offense to us. We are your most robust constitution. Scotland hasn't got a constitution. Neither has Wales. Neither has the Westminster Parliament. It is run by Hansard and, what's his name? Erskine May. That is the compliance of Parliament. Parliament has not got a written constitution. Jamaica has. Parliament will see sovereign demise in front of its face. The head of state in an advanced age, and Parliament will do nothing. Jamaica, when we see sovereign demise in an advanced stage, we do what is necessary to remove any stain from our head of state, that she might go to the next phase of her life washed and clean. Our head of state has been accused of sacrilege, looting from an Ethiopian church, and you have the looted property in your head or in your private collections today. The Jamaicans will mitigate that. Mom, you need to do the right thing. Don't say you're not hearing what we're saying. Don't close your eyes and turn a blind eye. Mitigate the circumstance. I am a member of the Spanish Town Compliance Unit. It is a Jamaican legal compliance unit in Spanish Town. I am instructed by them not to shout and not to wave my arms about, but to recite myself to the best of my ability so that the message is driven home. The Jamaican people will not have their head of state go to the next journey in her life with a charge of sacrilege around her neck. They will not have that because they will not follow. That charge needs to be mitigated. It was not mitigated during the British Golden to Diamond Jubilee. A Golden Jubilee is governed by Leviticus 25 of the biblical. It is an ecclesiastical requirement. You must return every man his property. That means if you looted my church property 100 years ago, I will require it from you during your Jubilee. You will not fail, because if you fail the Jubilee law, what follows is damnation. The Jamaicans won't have that of their head of state, so we need to mitigate.